Captain Ji-Ho Kim stood on the bridge of the CSS Resilience with his hands clasped behind his back. The stars stretched out before him through the wide viewing window. This far from Earth, the stars looked different, but Ji-Ho found comfort in them anyway. For 15 years, he had commanded ships through these distant parts of space. The CSS Resilience was smaller than his last command, but it was fast and had a good crew. "Captain, I'm picking up unusual readings from the asteroid field," said Science Officer Tae-Woo Choi. His voice was quiet but excited. Tae-Woo was young for his position, but Ji-Ho had never regretted choosing him for this mission. Ji-Ho walked over to Tae-Woo's station. "Show me." Tae-Woo pulled up a display that showed strange energy patterns. "It's the new element, sir." "Just as we thought. These readings are even stronger than our predictions." Ji-Ho nodded. This was why they had come to this disputed sector of space. The new element could change everything about space travel. If it worked the way Tae-Woo believed, ships could travel faster than ever before with much less fuel. "How much longer do you need to gather data?" Ji-Ho asked. 3 hours should be enough to complete our research," Tae-Woo said, already focused back on his screens. Ji-Ho turned to his pilot. "Subin, hold our position here." "Yes, Captain," Subin answered, her fingers moving over the controls. Ji-Ho returned to his chair. This mission had gone smoothly so far. The disputed sector had been quiet. Several species claimed this area of space, but the Galactic Council had not officially recognized any of these claims. Humans had as much right to be here as anyone else, especially on a scientific mission. "Captain, I'm detecting ships approaching," called out Communications Officer Jin Park. His voice was tense. "Multiple ships coming in fast." Ji-Ho straightened in his chair. "Put it on the main screen." The viewing screen changed to show 12 ships approaching in tight formation. Ji-Ho recognized their shape immediately. Makari warships. "They'll reach us in 10 minutes, sir," Jin said. The Makari were known throughout the galaxy for their advanced technology and territorial nature. They had claimed this sector recently, though like all other claims, the Galactic Council had not approved it. "Hail Security Officer Hana Lee to the bridge," Ji-Ho ordered. "And Chief Engineer Do-Yun Park as well." "Captain, the Makari ships are hailing us," Jin reported. "Put them through." The screen changed to show a Makari commander. Like all his species, he had iridescent scales that shimmered in the light and 4 eyes set in a wide face. His neck frill was expanded, which Ji-Ho knew was a sign of aggression or dominance display. "Human vessel," the Makari said in a harsh, clicking accent. "I am Commander Krex of the Makari Defense Force. You are trespassing in Makari territory. Identify yourself and state your purpose." Ji-Ho stood, keeping his voice calm and respectful. "I am Captain Ji-Ho Kim of the CSS Resilience, a research vessel from Earth. We are conducting scientific research in this sector, which, according to Galactic Council records, remains unclaimed territory." Krex's frill flared wider. "The Makari Empire has claimed this sector. Your information is outdated. What are you researching?" Before Ji-Ho could answer, the bridge door slid open. Security Officer Hana Lee entered, followed by Chief Engineer Do-Yun Park. Hana was tall and moved with the confidence of someone who had military training. Do-Yun looked like he had been working on something. His uniform was stained with grease. Ji-Ho spoke carefully to Krex. "We're studying unusual energy patterns in the asteroid field. Our research is for scientific purposes only. All research in Makari territory must be approved by the Science Directorate," Krex said. "You will power down your systems and prepare to be boarded for inspection." Ji-Ho felt a flash of alarm but kept his face neutral. "Commander, with all respect, we have the right to conduct research in unclaimed space. We will be happy to share our non-classified findings with the Makari Empire once our work is complete. This is not a request, human. Power down your systems now." The communication ended abruptly. "They've surrounded us, sir," Subin reported. "All 12 ships are in attack position." Ji-Ho turned to his senior officers. "Hana, what are our options if this turns hostile?" Hana's face was grim. "We're outmatched, sir. The Resilience is fast, but we can't outrun 12 Makari warships. And our weapons are minimal. We're a research vessel, not a battleship. Do-Yun, what about our engines? Can we make a run for it?" The engineer shook his head. "Not with them surrounding us like this. They'd cut us off before we could reach FTL speed." Ji-Ho nodded and made a decision. "Jin, send a coded message to Earth Command. Let them know our situation and the importance of our findings. Use the emergency protocol so it can't be intercepted. Yes, sir. Captain, they're hailing us again, Jin said a moment later. Krex appeared on screen again, his frill now fully extended. Your time is up, human. Power down your systems or we will disable your ship and take your crew as prisoners. Jiho needed to buy time. Commander Krex, this is an unprovoked act of aggression against a peaceful research mission. I formally request time to consult with my superiors on Earth. You have 30 minutes, Krex said after a pause. Then we will take action. The screen went dark. Jiho turned to his officers. Senior staff, meeting room now. In the small meeting room adjacent to the bridge, Jiho looked at his 4 senior officers, Hana, Do-Yun, Tae-Woo, and Jin. Tae-Woo. Tell everyone what we've really found, Jiho said. The science officer looked uncomfortable but spoke clearly. The new element we've discovered has properties we didn't fully understand until today. It doesn't just store energy, it amplifies it. If weaponized, it could shift the balance of power in the galaxy. Hana leaned forward. And that's why we can't let the Makari have it. Exactly, Jiho agreed. If the Makari board us, they'll take everything, our research, our samples, maybe even our ship. We could destroy the data, Jin suggested. Jiho shook his head. This discovery is too important for humanity. We need to get it back to Earth. We could fight, Hana said, though she didn't sound convinced. The Resilience has some weapons. Against 12 warships? Jin asked. That would be suicide. There might be another way, Do-Yun said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. The engineer rarely spoke up in meetings. I've been working on a modification to our shield systems. It's not approved yet. I was going to submit it for review when we return to Earth. What kind of modification? Jiho asked. Instead of just deflecting energy, the shields could absorb it. But I haven't tested it yet, and there's no way to know if it would work against Makari weapons. Tae-Woo's eyes widened. The new element, he whispered. What about it? Hana asked. If we integrated it into Do-Yun's shield modification, Tae-Woo turned to the engineer. Do you think it's possible? Do-Yun thought for a moment. Theoretically, yes. The element could amplify the absorption capacity, but it would be extremely risky. We'd be working with untested technology. Jiho stood up. It sounds like our best option. Do-Yun, Tae-Woo, get to work on the shield modification. Jin, keep Earth Command updated on our situation. Hana, prepare defensive protocols just in case. And what about the Makari? Hana asked. Jiho's expression was determined. I'll keep them talking as long as I can. As his officers left to carry out their tasks, Jiho returned to the bridge. He had 25 minutes to prepare for whatever came next. 25 minutes to ready his ship and crew for a confrontation with a technologically superior force. The stars continued to shine through the viewing window, indifferent to the human drama unfolding beneath them. Jiho took a deep breath. He had faced difficult situations before, but never quite like this. The lives of his crew, and a discovery that could change humanity's future were both in his hands. Jin, open a channel to Commander Krex, he ordered. I think it's time we continue our conversation. As he waited for the connection, Jiho silently hoped that Do-Yun and Tae-Woo could work quickly enough. The odds were against them, but humans had faced bad odds before, and survived. The screen lit up with Krex's face, and Jiho straightened his shoulders. The real battle was about to begin. Commander Krex's face filled the screen. His 4 eyes blinked in an unsettling pattern. The scales on his face shimmered with an angry red glow. Have you decided to surrender your ship, Captain? Krex asked. Jiho kept his face calm. I wish to discuss terms, Commander. Surely we can reach an agreement that satisfies both parties. Krex made a clicking sound that Jiho knew was laughter. There are no terms to discuss. You will power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. We will take what we want. May I ask what exactly you think we have discovered? Jiho asked carefully. Do not play games, human. Our sensors detected unusual energy readings from your ship. You have found something valuable in our territory. Jiho needed to keep the conversation going. Every minute he kept Krex talking was another minute for Do-Yun and Tae-Woo to work on their modifications. Commander, I propose a compromise. I will share our scientific findings with you. In return, you allow us to leave with our ship and crew intact. Krex's frill expanded. Your species is known for deception. You will yield or be destroyed. The screen went dark as Krex ended the transmission. Jiho turned to Jin. How much time did that buy us? 10 minutes, sir. Status update from engineering? Jin checked his console. Do-Yun reports they need at least 20 more minutes. Ji-ho frowned. They didn't have 20 minutes. Tell Do-Yun to work faster. Hana, report to the bridge. Hana arrived a minute later. Security protocols are in place, Captain. All non-essential crew are in the safe section. Good. I need options, Hana. She hesitated. Sir, we could try to talk to Krex again. Maybe if we offered a small sample of the element as a gesture of goodwill. No, Ji-ho said firmly. We can't let them have any of it. Not until we understand it fully ourselves. Then I don't see many options, sir. We're outgunned and surrounded. Ji-ho nodded grimly. I know, but I'm not giving up yet. His comm unit beeped. It was Do-Yun. Captain, we may have something.
Can you come to engineering?
Ji-ho glanced at the countdown timer on the main screen. They had 18 minutes before Krex's deadline. Hana, you have the bridge. Keep them talking if they call again. In engineering, Do-Yun and Tae-woo were working frantically. Cables and equipment were spread across the floor. In the center of the room was a containment unit holding a small glowing blue crystal, a sample of the new element. What have you got? Ji-ho asked. Do-Yun looked up from his work. His face was streaked with sweat. We can modify the shields like I suggested. The new element amplifies energy in ways I didn't think were possible. Tae-woo continued, his voice excited despite the situation. The Makari weapons emit a specific energy signature. If we tune our shields to that frequency, we can absorb their attacks instead of just blocking them. Absorb them? Ji-ho asked. To what end? Energy, Do-Yun said simply. We can store it and then use it. The more they shoot at us, the more power we get. Ji-ho considered this. Could we use that power to escape? Do-Yun and Tae-woo exchanged glances. In theory, yes, Tae-woo said. But there's a problem. Our systems aren't designed to handle that much energy at once. It could overload everything. How likely is that? Very, Do-Yun admitted. But I've been working on a way to release the energy in a controlled burst. We could use it as a weapon or to boost our engines briefly. Ji-ho thought for a moment. How much longer do you need? 15 minutes to finish the modifications. Another 5 to test them. That was cutting it close. You have 12 minutes for everything. Do what you can. Ji-ho hurried back to the bridge. As he arrived, Jin called out, Captain, the Makari are hailing us again. On screen, Krex appeared, looking impatient. Your time is almost up, human. Have you made your decision? Ji-ho took a deep breath. Time for a new approach. Commander Krex, I wish to formally request safe passage for my crew if I surrender the ship and our research data. This seemed to surprise the Makari. His frill relaxed slightly. You would give up your ship? To save my crew, yes. But I need assurances they will be safely transported to the nearest human outpost. Krex was silent for a moment. I will consider your request. Stand by. When the screen went dark, Jin turned to Ji-ho with a shocked expression. Sir, are you really considering surrender? No, Ji-ho said quietly. I'm buying time. How long until Do-Yun is ready? He says 8 more minutes, sir. Ji-ho nodded. Good. Now I need you to begin powering down non-essential systems. Make it look like we're preparing to surrender. Yes, sir. Ji-ho turned to Hana. Have your security teams ready. If this works, we may only get one chance. Over the next few minutes, the resilience appeared to be powering down. Lights dimmed across the ship. External sensors went offline. To the Makari ships watching them, it would look like the human vessel was giving up. But below decks, Do-Yun and Tae-woo were working frantically to complete their modifications. The new element was now integrated into the shield matrix. If their calculations were correct, the shields would absorb energy from Makari weapons rather than trying to deflect it. Captain, Do-Yun reports the modifications are complete, Jin announced. Tell him to stand by. Keep the shields powered down for now. We don't want the Makari to detect anything unusual. The comm system chimed. Krex was calling again. On screen, Ji-ho ordered. Krex looked satisfied when he saw the dimmed lights on the human bridge. I see you have made the wise choice, Captain. My superiors have agreed to your terms. Your crew will be transported safely to the human outpost in the Rigel system. Ji-ho nodded, trying to look defeated. Thank you, Commander. When should we expect your boarding party? We are preparing a shuttle now. It will dock with your ship in approximately 10 minutes. Have your crew ready for transfer and prepare to hand over all research data. Understood, Ji-ho said. Resilience out. Once the communication ended, Ji-ho turned to his crew. This is it. We have 10 minutes to prepare. Jin, notify all crew members of the plan. Hana, position your security teams near the airlock but out of sight. Make it look like we're cooperating. Yes, sir, Hana replied, already moving toward the door. Jiho opened a direct channel to engineering. Duyun, is the system ready? Yes, Captain, but it's untested. I can't guarantee what will happen when we activate it. Understood. Stand by for my signal. The next 10 minutes passed slowly. On the bridge, Jiho watched as a Makari shuttle detached from Krex's command ship and began moving toward the Resilience. All systems ready, Captain, Jin reported. The crew is in position, Jiho nodded. Good. Now we wait. The Makari shuttle approached the Resilience's main airlock. Through the external cameras, Jiho could see armed Makari soldiers inside, ready to board. Activate the modified shields, Jiho ordered quietly. Jin tapped his console. Shields activated, sir. The Makari don't seem to have noticed yet. Good. Let them get closer. The Makari shuttle was now just meters from the airlock. Jiho watched as it extended its docking tube. Sir, I'm detecting energy readings from the Makari fleet, Jin reported suddenly. They're powering weapons, Jiho cursed under his breath. They never intended to honor the agreement. Do you in status of the shields? Ready, Captain. The element is integrated and functioning. The first Makari ship fired a warning shot that passed close to the Resilience's hull. The shields absorbed the energy without showing any visible barrier, exactly as planned. On the communication screen, Krex appeared again. A precaution, Captain. My soldiers will board your vessel now. Any resistance will be met with destruction. Jiho nodded calmly. We understand, Commander. No resistance will be offered. As the communication ended, Jiho opened a channel to all crew stations. This is the captain. Prepare for emergency maneuvers on my mark. The Makari shuttle made contact with the airlock. Through the internal cameras, Jiho could see Hana and her security team hidden in adjacent corridors, weapons ready. Captain, the shield matrix is absorbing energy from the nearby Makari ships, Jin reported. Even their ambient emissions are being converted. Jiho smiled for the first time in hours. Good. Let's get a little more power first. He opened a channel to Krex. Commander, we're having some trouble with our airlock. Could you move your shuttle back slightly while we reset the system? Krex looked annoyed but agreed. As the shuttle backed away, Jiho gave a new order. Subin, be ready to execute escape pattern alpha on my mark. Yes, Captain, the pilot responded. The Makari, growing impatient, fired another warning shot. This one came even closer to the Resilience's hull. Energy absorption at 30% capacity, Jin reported. Jiho nodded. Not enough yet. We need more power. He waited, watching as the Makari shuttle prepared to make another docking attempt. The tension on the bridge was thick enough to cut with a knife. Then Krex made a mistake. Frustrated by the delay, he ordered 2 of his ships to fire directly at the Resilience's engines, a disabling shot meant to prevent any chance of escape. The energy beam struck the Resilience's shields and disappeared. Energy absorption at 70% and climbing, Jin called out excitedly. Jiho's eyes narrowed. Now we have enough. Duyun, prepare to channel the absorbed energy to the engines. Subin, get ready to move. The Makari fired again, more desperately this time. Each shot only added to the energy the Resilience was collecting. Energy absorption at maximum capacity, Jin reported. The systems can't hold any more. The Resilience hummed with power. The lights on the bridge brightened as energy flowed through the ship's systems. Jiho felt the deck vibrate beneath his feet. Channel energy to engines, Jiho ordered. Duyun's voice came over the comm. Energy channeling now, Captain. But there's too much. The systems weren't designed for this level of power. Do what you can, Jiho said firmly. We only need a few seconds. On the main screen, Krex's face appeared. The Makari commander looked confused and angry. What is happening? Your ship was powering down. Jiho allowed himself a small smile. You thought we were surrendering, Commander. But humans don't give up that easily. He cut the communication before Krex could respond. Subin, execute escape pattern alpha now. The pilot's hands flew over the controls. The Resilience shot forward suddenly, moving with unexpected speed directly toward the gap between 2 Makari warships. They're firing, Jin shouted as warning alarms blared. Energy beams from the Makari ship struck the Resilience's shields. But instead of damaging the human vessel, the attacks were absorbed. adding even more power to their engines. "We're at 120% of normal power capacity," Jin reported, his voice tight with tension. "The systems are overloading." Jiho gripped the arms of his chair as the ship accelerated. "Hold it together just a little longer." The Resilience slipped between two Makari ships and continued to accelerate. Behind them, the Makari fleet scrambled to pursue. "They're following us," Jin reported. "All 12 ships," Jiho had expected this. "Good. Subin, change course to heading 473 Mark II. Lead them away from the asteroid field." "Yes, sir." The ship banked sharply, changing direction. The pursuing Makari ships adjusted their course to follow. Jiho opened a channel to engineering. "Duyun, status report." The engineer's voice sounded strained. "The power levels are dangerously high, Captain. We can't keep absorbing energy like this. Can you release some of it? Maybe as a defensive measure?" There was a pause. "Maybe. Taewoo and I are working on it." "Give us 2 minutes." "You have 1 minute," Jiho replied. "The Makari aren't going to give up easily." He turned to Jin. "Distance to the nearest Makari ship?" "They're gaining on us, sir. Lead ship is 5,000 meters and closing." Jiho considered their options. They couldn't outrun the Makari fleet forever, and their systems couldn't handle the growing energy levels for much longer. "Captain," Hana called from her station, "what if we use the excess energy as a weapon?" Jiho looked at her. "What do you mean?" Duyun said we could release the energy in a controlled burst. If we directed that burst at the pursuing ships, Jiho understood immediately. It might disable them without destroying them. Jin relayed that suggestion to Duyun. A moment later, Doyun's excited voice came through. "That could work, Captain. We can modify the rear shields to release a concentrated energy pulse. It won't destroy the Makari ships, but it could disable their systems temporarily." "How long to set it up?" 2 minutes. Jiho checked the tactical display. The lead Makari ship was now only 4,000 meters behind them and closing fast. "Make it 1 minute, Doyun. We're running out of time." The next 60 seconds felt like hours. The Resilience continued to accelerate, pushing its engines to their limits. The Makari ships fired repeatedly, each shot adding more dangerous levels of energy to the human vessel's already overloaded systems. Warning alarms blared across the bridge. "Hull temperature rising," Jin reported. "We can't maintain this speed much longer." Just then, Doyun's voice broke through. "Ready, Captain? The rear shield emitters are configured to release the energy pulse on your command. Target the lead Makari ship," Jiho ordered. "Fire when ready." There was a moment of silence, then the ship shuddered. A brilliant blue pulse of energy shot from the Resilience's rear shields, streaking back toward the pursuing Makari vessels. The pulse hit the lead ship directly. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the Makari vessel's lights flickered and went out. It continued moving forward on its existing trajectory, but was clearly no longer under power. "Direct hit," Jin reported excitedly. "The Makari ship systems are down." "1 down, 11 to go," Jiho said grimly. "Duyun, how soon can we fire again?" "We need to absorb more energy first, Captain. Give me 2 minutes to recharge." The remaining Makari ships adjusted their formation. 3 moved ahead of the others, pushing their engines to close the distance with the Resilience. "They're changing tactics," Hana observed. "Trying to box us in," Jiho nodded. "Subin, prepare for evasive pattern Delta. Let's make them work for it." The Resilience banked sharply again, changing course in an unpredictable pattern. The 3 lead Makari ships struggled to adjust. "They're firing again," Jin warned. More energy beams struck the Resilience's shields. The ship shuddered under the impact. "Power levels rising again," Jin reported. "Approaching critical levels. Duyun, status on the pulse weapon?" "Almost recharged, Captain." 30 more seconds. Jiho watched as the 3 lead Makari ships spread out, trying to surround the Resilience. "Subin, bring us about. I want all 3 of those ships in our weapons path." The pilot nodded, sweat beading on her forehead as she executed the difficult maneuver. The Resilience turned sharply, now facing the oncoming Makari vessels. "Reverse thrust," Jiho ordered. "Keep us just out of their weapons range." The ship slowed, maintaining a precise distance from the approaching Makari ships. "Energy pulse ready, Captain," Doyun reported. Jiho watched the tactical display. The 3 Makari ships were now perfectly aligned, one behind the other as they pursued the Resilience. Fire. Another brilliant blue pulse shot out from the Resilience, this time from the forward shields. It struck the first Makari ship, passed through it, and continued on to hit the second and third vessels as well. All three ships went dark, their momentum carrying them forward, but their systems completely shut down. A cheer went up from the bridge crew. Jiho allowed himself a small smile before refocusing. 4 down, 8 to go. Let's keep moving. The remaining Makari ships, now more cautious, spread out widely. They continued to pursue but kept their distance. They're being more careful now, Hana said. They've realized what we can do. Jiho nodded. Good, that gives us some breathing room. Jin, contact Earth Command. Let them know our situation. Communications are still being jammed, sir. The Makari are blocking all outgoing signals, Jiho frowned. They needed help if they were going to get out of this completely. The Resilience had surprised the Makari, but they were still outnumbered. Captain, Taewoo's voice came over the comm. He had been quiet until now, working with Do-yoon in engineering. I have an idea. The new element doesn't just absorb energy, it can redirect it too. If we modify our communications array to use the excess energy we've absorbed, we might be able to break through the Makari jamming. Jiho considered this. How long would it take? 10 minutes. Maybe less. It was risky to divert resources from their defensive measures, but they needed to call for help. Do it, Jiho ordered. But keep enough power for the pulse weapon. The next 10 minutes were tense. The Makari fleet regrouped and continued their pursuit, but they kept their distance, wary of the Resilience's new weapon. Jiho used this time to put more space between his ship and the Makari vessels. Captain, look. Jin pointed to the tactical display. The 4 disabled Makari ships were showing signs of life again. Lights were coming back on as their systems rebooted. How long until they're fully operational? Jiho asked. Maybe 5 minutes, Jin estimated. Jiho nodded. The pulse weapon didn't permanently disable the Makari ships. It just bought them time. Subin, increase speed. Let's put more distance between us and those ships. The Resilience surged forward again, its engines straining with the added power from the absorbed energy. Communication array modification complete, Taewoo reported, attempting to break through the jamming now. Jiho waited, watching as the tactical display showed the Makari fleet regrouping. The 4 previously disabled ships were now moving again, rejoining their comrades. I've broken through, Taewoo announced suddenly. We can send a message to Earth Command. Send our coordinates and situation report, Jiho ordered. Tell them we need immediate assistance. Jin worked quickly at his console. Message sent, sir. But I don't know if they received it. We have to assume they did, Jiho said. Now we just need to stay alive long enough for help to arrive. The tactical display showed the Makari fleet advancing again. All 12 ships now functional and in attack formation. They're coming in hard, sir, Jin warned. Jiho nodded grimly. They're angry now. Do-yoon status on the pulse weapon? Fully charged, Captain. But I should warn you, our systems aren't designed for repeated use of this weapon. Each time we fire, we risk permanent damage to the ship. Jiho understood the risk. Noted. But we don't have much choice right now. The lead Makari ship fired, its energy beam striking the Resilience's shields. The human vessel absorbed the attack and converted it to usable power. They're still firing one at a time, Hana observed. They haven't figured out that their attacks are only making us stronger. Jiho nodded. Let's use that to our advantage. Subin, bring us closer to the lead ship. Let's provoke them into firing more. The Resilience changed course, heading directly toward the Makari fleet. It was a bold move that seemed to confuse the alien vessels. 3 sleek human battleships emerged from warp, their weapon systems already active. They moved into defensive positions around the Resilience, their presence causing the remaining Makari ships to hesitate. This is Captain Wong of the CSS Defender, a voice announced over the comm. Resilience, what is your status? Relief washed over Jiho. Captain Wong, this is Captain Kim. We have 9 disabled Makari ships and 3 still active. Our systems are in critical condition. Understood, Captain Kim. We'll take it from here. Fall back and make any necessary repairs. As the human battleships moved forward to engage the remaining Makari vessels, Jiho turned to his crew. Subin, take us to a safe distance. Jin, continue monitoring the Makari ships. Do-yoon, focus on stabilizing our systems. The Resilience pulled back as the CSS Defender and its sister ships confronted the Makari. The 3 remaining alien vessels, suddenly outnumbered, began to retreat. The Makari are withdrawing, Jin reported. The disabled ships are being towed by the active ones. Jiho nodded. Good, let them go. We've made our point. Captain, we're being hailed by Commander Krex, Jin said, sounding surprised. Jiho raised an eyebrow. Put him through. Krex appeared on screen. His frill was now flat against his neck, a sign of submission or at least caution. Captain Kim, this engagement is over. We are withdrawing our forces. A wise decision, Commander, Jiho replied evenly. Krex's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. Your vessel should not have been able to disable my ships. How did you do it? Jiho allowed himself a small smile. Human ingenuity, Commander. Something your intelligence reports clearly underestimated. Krex made a sound that might have been a snort. This matter is not finished, human. My superiors will hear of this incident. As will mine, Jiho replied. I suggest you reconsider your claim on this sector. The Galactic Council might be interested to hear about your unprovoked attack on a research vessel. Krex's frill fluttered, briefly before he cut the communication. Captain. Wong's face replaced Krex's on the screen. Impressive work, Captain Kim. Taking on 12 Makari warships with a research vessel? That's not something you see every day. Jiho nodded respectfully. We had little choice, Captain, and we had some unexpected advantages. He glanced at Do-Yun and Tae-Woo, who had just entered the bridge. Earth Command is very interested in your research findings, Wong continued, and in how you managed to disable those Makari ships. We'll escort you back to the nearest starbase for a full debriefing. Thank you, Captain Wong. We'll follow your lead. As the communication ended, Jiho turned to his senior officers. Status report? Do-Yun spoke first. We've managed to stabilize our systems, Captain. The shield modifications held, but we've strained just about every power conduit on the ship. We'll need extensive repairs once we reach a starbase. Tae-Woo stepped forward. The new element samples are secure, sir. And I've completed my analysis of its properties. The results are remarkable. How so? Jiho asked. The element doesn't just absorb and amplify energy, it can actually transform it. With proper refinement, it could revolutionize not just propulsion systems, but weapons, shields, even communications. Jiho considered this. That explains why the Makari were so determined to get their hands on it. They must have detected our initial tests, Tae-Woo agreed. But they didn't understand what they were dealing with. Hana joined the conversation. Neither did we, really. We got lucky today. Not luck, Jiho said firmly. Skill and quick thinking. He looked at his crew with pride. Everyone on this ship performed admirably. You should all be proud. Jin looked up from his console. Sir, the disabled Makari ships are recovering faster than expected. Their systems are coming back online. Jiho wasn't surprised. The Makari are nothing if not resourceful. But with our escort, I don't think they'll try anything else today. The Resilience, flanked by the 3 human battleships, began the journey back to the nearest human starbase. As they traveled, Jiho found himself in the ship's small observation lounge looking out at the stars. The events of the day kept replaying in his mind. Hana entered the lounge and stood beside him. Thinking about what happened, Captain?
Jiho nodded.
We came very close to disaster today. But we prevailed, Hana pointed out. Against 12 Makari warships. This time, Jiho said quietly. But the Makari won't forget what happened. And they won't underestimate us next time. Good, Hana said with a hint of fierceness. Let them remember what happens when they try to force a human ship to yield. Jiho smiled slightly. You sound proud, aren't you? She asked. Before Jiho could answer, his comm unit beeped. Captain, we're receiving a priority message from Earth Command, Jin's voice reported. I'll take it in my ready room, Jiho replied. In his private office adjacent to the bridge, Jiho activated his screen. The face of Admiral Chen appeared. Captain Kim, the Admiral said without preamble, I've reviewed the preliminary reports of your encounter with the Makari. Impressive work. Thank you, Admiral. My crew deserves the credit, Chen nodded. They'll all receive commendations. But that's not why I'm calling. Your discovery of this new element, is it as significant as your science officer claims? Possibly more so, Admiral. Tae-Woo believes it could transform our technology in numerous ways. Chen's expression was grave. Then we have a problem, Captain. The Makari will be back and not just with 12 ships next time. If this element is as valuable as it appears, they'll commit significant resources to obtain it. Jiho had already reached the same conclusion. What are your orders, sir? Proceed to Starbase 7 as planned. A team of specialists will meet you there to analyze your findings and the modifications your engineer made to your shields. In the meantime, We're dispatching additional ships to the sector where you made the discovery. We need to secure that asteroid field before the Makari return in force. And the Galactic Council? Jiho asked. Will they be informed about the Makari's actions? Chen's mouth thinned. Our ambassador is filing a formal complaint as we speak. But politics move slowly, Captain. We need to be prepared for further confrontation. I understand, sir. One more thing, Captain, Chen added. I want a full demonstration of how you modified your shields when you reached Starbase 7. If we can replicate that technology across our fleet... He didn't need to finish the thought. Of course, Admiral. Duyun and Taiwu will provide all the necessary details. After the communication ended, Jiho returned to the bridge. His senior officers looked at him expectantly. Admiral Chen sends his congratulations, Jiho told them, and wants a full demonstration of our shield modifications when we reach Starbase 7. Duyun looked nervous. Sir, those modifications were improvisational. I'm not sure I can replicate them under controlled conditions. You'll have help, Jiho assured him. A team of specialists will be meeting us at the starbase. Taiwu approached with a data pad. Captain, I've completed my full analysis of the new element. I believe we should call it Resilium after our ship. Jiho smiled. That seems appropriate, Jin called from his station. Captain, I'm detecting unusual readings from the Makari fleet. They appear to be gathering around their command ship. Jiho's smile faded. On screen, the main viewer showed the Makari vessels clustered around Krex's command ship. Energy readings spiked as the ships linked their power systems together. What are they doing? Hana asked, tension in her voice. Taiwu studied the readings. It looks like they're combining their power to jump to FTL speed. Their individual ships must be too damaged to make the jump alone. Jiho watched as the Makari fleet, moving as one connected unit, suddenly elongated and disappeared in a flash of light. They've gone to FTL, Jin confirmed, heading directly toward Makari territory. They're going to report what happened, Hana said. Jiho nodded. And request reinforcements. We need to reach Starbase 7 quickly. The journey to Starbase 7 took 3 days. During that time, Jiho had his crew document everything about their encounter with the Makari and the modifications they had made to the ship's systems. Duyun and Taiwu worked continuously to refine their understanding of how the new element, now officially named Resilium, had enhanced their shields. As they approached the starbase, Jiho gathered his senior officers in the meeting room. In a few hours, we'll be docking at Starbase 7, he told them. Earth Command is treating our discovery as a matter of highest priority. You should all be prepared for extensive debriefings. Will we be reassigned? Hana asked. Jiho shook his head. Not if I have anything to say about it. We discovered Resilium. We should be part of whatever comes next. And what do you think that will be, sir? Jin asked. Jiho considered the question. The Makari now know what we've found. They'll be back, probably with a larger fleet. Earth Command will need to secure the asteroid field where we made the discovery. And they'll want to develop this technology as quickly as possible. Are we looking at a potential conflict with the Makari? Taiwu asked quietly. It's possible, Jiho admitted. But I'm hoping the Galactic Council will intervene before it comes to that. The Council has rules against unilateral claims on unclaimed sectors, and the Makari violated those rules when they attacked us. The Council moves slowly, Hana pointed out. And the Makari aren't known for their patience. Neither are humans, Do-Yun added with a slight smile. Jiho nodded. True. Starbase 7 bustled with activity. News of the Resilience's encounter with the Makari fleet had spread quickly, and the station was on high alert. As Jiho stepped off the ship, he was met by a delegation of high-ranking officers led by Admiral Chen himself. Captain Kim, the Admiral said, extending his hand. Welcome to Starbase 7. Jiho shook the Admiral's hand firmly. Thank you, Admiral. My crew is ready for debriefing, Chen nodded. Good, we have a lot to discuss. He gestured to the officers behind him. This is the special research team I told you about. They're eager to hear about your shield modifications and this new element you've discovered. Over the next several hours, Jiho and his senior officers were separated for individual debriefings. Jiho described the encounter with the Makari in detail, emphasizing the quick thinking of his crew and the unexpected properties of Resilium. So this element absorbed and redirected the Makari weapons fire? One of the researchers asked. Yes, Jiho confirmed. But it was Do-Yun's shield modifications that made it possible. Without his work, we wouldn't have been able to use Resilium's properties effectively. In another room, Do-Yun was explaining his modifications to a group of engineers. It was just a theory I had been working on, he said modestly. The idea that shields could absorb energy rather than simply deflect it. Resilium made it possible to actually implement the theory. Taewoo was surrounded by excited scientists as he showed them samples of the new element. Its atomic structure is unlike anything we've seen before, he explained. It doesn't just conduct energy, it amplifies it, transforms it. Hana and Jin were questioned about the tactical aspects of the encounter. The Makari clearly underestimated us, Hana told the security officers. They expected us to surrender immediately. When we didn't, they didn't know how to respond. After the individual sessions, Admiral Chen called for a joint meeting in the Starbase's main conference room. Jiho and his senior officers found themselves seated at a large table with the Admiral and the research team. I've heard all your reports, Chen began, and I'm impressed. What you accomplished with the Resilience shouldn't have been possible. You took on 12 Makari warships with a research vessel and not only survived, but disabled 9 of them. It's unprecedented, Jiho nodded modestly. We had little choice, Admiral, and we had some unexpected advantages. Yes, this new element, Resilium. Chen activated a holographic display showing the asteroid field where the Resilience had made its discovery. We've already dispatched a mining expedition to secure the area, but we're not the only ones interested in it. The display changed to show a different section of space. A large fleet of Makari ships was gathering. Our long-range sensors detected this formation 2 hours ago, Chen explained. The Makari are mobilizing a significant force, at least 30 warships. Jiho felt a chill run down his spine. They're coming back for the Resilium. Almost certainly, Chen agreed. And this time they're not taking any chances. Can we stop them? Hana asked. Chen's expression was grim. We're marshalling our own forces, but the Makari have a head start. They could reach the asteroid field before our reinforcements arrive. What about the Galactic Council? Taewoo asked. Have they responded to our complaint? They've called for a special session, Chen said. But it will take time for the representatives to gather. We can't count on their intervention before the Makari make their move. Jiho studied the display thoughtfully. So we're looking at a potential armed conflict over this asteroid field. Unless we can find a diplomatic solution quickly, Chen confirmed. But the Makari aren't known for their willingness to negotiate. What about a demonstration? Do-Yun suggested suddenly. All eyes turned to the engineer. A demonstration? Chen asked. Do-Yun nodded, warming to his idea. The Makari respect strength above all else. That's why they tried to force us to yield in the first place. They thought they were stronger. But now they know that's not necessarily true. What are you suggesting? Jiho asked, though he was beginning to see where Do-Yun was going with this. What if we showed them what Resilium can really do? Not just the defensive capabilities we used against their fleet, but its full potential? Taewoo's eyes widened. You mean weaponize it? Not necessarily, Do-Yun clarified quickly. But we could demonstrate its power in a controlled way. Something that would make the Makari think twice about starting a conflict over it. Admiral Chen considered this. It's risky. If the demonstration doesn't impress them, it might just provoke them further. But if it does impress them, Jiho countered, it might bring them to the negotiating table, and that would give the Galactic Council time to intervene. Chen nodded slowly. It's worth considering. He turned to Taewoo. How quickly could you develop a demonstration of Resilium's capabilities? The science officer thought for a moment. With the resources of this starbase and Do-Yun's help, maybe 3 days? We may not have 3 days, Chen said grimly. The Makari fleet is already on the move. Jiho leaned forward. Admiral, what if we return to the asteroid field? Chen looked surprised. The Resilience? But your ship is damaged, and the Makari are sending 30 warships this time. We wouldn't go alone, Jiho clarified. We'd go with whatever ships you can spare. But the Resilience has already proven it can use Resilium effectively, and the Makari know it. You're suggesting we use the Resilience as a deterrent? Chen asked. As part of a deterrent force, yes, Jiho confirmed. And as a platform for Do-Yun and Taewoo's demonstration if necessary. Chen thought about this for a long moment. It's risky, he said finally. But you've already proven you can handle risk, Captain Kim. He made his decision. Very well. The Resilience will join our response force, but you'll need to make repairs quickly. Do-Yun can have the ship ready in 24 hours, Jiho promised, looking at his engineer who nodded in confirmation. In the meantime, Chen continued, I want Taewoo working with our research team on developing this demonstration. If we can't prevent a confrontation with the Makari, we need to be ready to show them exactly what they're up against. The meeting concluded, and Jiho's crew returned to the Resilience to begin repairs. Do-Yun worked tirelessly, directing teams of engineers from the starbase to replace damaged systems and reinforce the shield modifications that had saved them before. Taewoo remained on the starbase, working with the research team to develop a controlled demonstration of Resilium's power. The more he learned about the element, the more amazing its properties seemed. It's not just an energy amplifier, he explained to Jiho during a brief break. It's a transformer. It can convert one type of energy into another with almost no loss. And that's valuable? Jiho asked. Taewoo laughed. Valuable? Captain, it's revolutionary. Think about it. With Resilium, we could build engines that are 10 times more efficient than anything we have now. Weapons that don't need ammunition because they draw power from ambient energy. Communication systems that can cut through any interference. Jiho understood now why the Makari were so determined to control the asteroid field. No wonder they're sending 30 ships. 24 hours later, as promised, the Resilience was ready for action. Do-Yun had not only repaired the damage from their previous encounter, but had improved the shield modifications, based on what they had learned. The system is more stable now, he told Jiho as they prepared to depart. We can absorb and redirect energy more efficiently, and I've added a failsafe to prevent overload. Admiral Chen assembled a fleet of 15 ships, all that could be spared on short notice. The Resilience would join them as they raced to the asteroid field, hoping to arrive before the Makari fleet, or at least not long after. As they prepared to depart, Taewoo returned to the Resilience with a small device. What's that? Jiho asked. Our demonstration, Taewoo said with a hint of pride. It's a small-scale Resilium reactor. Based on what we've learned, it should be able to produce a controlled energy pulse visible from several light-years away. Will it convince the Makari to back down? Hana asked skeptically. That depends on how much they value their ships, Taewoo replied. The human fleet departed Starbase 7 at maximum warp speed. Jiho stood on the bridge of the Resilience watching the stars streak by on the main viewer. Despite the repairs and reinforcements, he knew they were heading into a dangerous situation. Captain, Jin called from his station. We're receiving a message from Admiral Chen. On screen, Chen's face appeared. Captain Kim, our long-range sensors have detected the Makari fleet. They'll reach the asteroid field approximately 2 hours before we do. Jiho nodded grimly. Understood, Admiral. What are your orders? Proceed as planned. When we arrive, we'll take up defensive positions around the asteroid field. If the Makari have already established mining operations, we'll demand they withdraw pending Galactic Council arbitration. And if they refuse, Chen's expression hardened. Then we show them your demonstration. Let's hope it's convincing. The journey to the asteroid field seemed to take forever, even at maximum warp. Jiho used the time to prepare his crew for what might be coming. He also spent long hours with Taewoo and Do-Yun, learning everything he could about Resilium and the demonstration device they had prepared. Finally, they arrived. As they dropped out of warp, the asteroid field came into view on the main screen.